Hi, I'm Paris.
And I'm Pam. And we are Two Peas in a Pod Cooking.
And today we're cooking
Blackberry Pie, one of our family favorites. And today, Paris is actually going to take charge because her older siblings actually have nicknamed her Paris's Perfect Pies because during the holidays, she creates all kinds of wonderful pies and does all the pie baking for us. So she wanted to go ahead and bake a blackberry pie because the season is coming upon us, and so she's going to go ahead and do the show today, and I'm just going to be her assistant. So Paris, what do we do?
Okay, first to get started, you need 2 things of pie crust. You can do the homemade kind or the store-bought kind. The store-bought kind is just faster and easier, so that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so you get it halfway unrolled, and then you put it in, then you unroll it.
And why do you do it that way? What happens?
Because that way it does not fit.
Oh, that's good. So you just place it all in there, okay? And then you usually just push it around the edges. Is that what you do?
Yep.
Okay. This is one of these nice big deep dish ones. So sometimes when we make our own pie crust, we make it a little bit bigger, but this is going to give it a really pretty edge.
Okay, so we did that. We're going to get the egg white with our bases.
So you just need what, 1 egg white?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then just get it all good and paint the bottom so it's nice and golden. And tell them what it will do.
Okay, well the reason that we do this is a little trick that I had taught Paris when she started making pies, is you put a little bit of egg white on it, and then what we typically do, we put it in the oven at 400 for about 10 minutes. It just crisps up the crust really nicely. No one likes to have kind of one of those soggy pie crust bottoms on their pies, and so if you go ahead and do this, you pre-cook it before you add all of your ingredients, it really crisps it up very, very nicely. The egg white also gives it a little bit of a nice brown sheen to it. Now to save time, I don't think we're going to preheat it today. We're not. We're just going to go ahead. But this is what you do, so you can continue just to keep the egg white on there. So what should we do next, Paris?
We get a
Oh, look at all those great blackberries.
And then you have about 2 cups. I mean, not 2 cups.
About 7 cups of blackberries, right?
For a 9-inch pan.
Right, we're using a larger 9-inch pan, so we've kind of put them all in there. And we went ahead and used frozen blackberries this time. You can use fresh blackberries when they're more in season, or you can go ahead and do what we're doing, just use the frozen blackberries. I'll go ahead and get you a spoon here, Paris. Push them all aside there to make them nice and even. They look good, don't they? Those are some big blackberries.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Nice and juicy.
Nice and juicy. Okay, what are we going to do next?
Okay, so now that we have the blackberries, we're going to put some sugar, I believe.
You're going to put your sugar. How much sugar are you going to use in there?
A half a cup.
Okay, go ahead and spread it all around there. Paris makes delicious pies. We had so many pies this past Thanksgiving and Christmas, didn't we?
Yeah.
It seemed like she was always baking in the cooking, in the kitchen. Okay, and what else are you going to put in here?
Tapioca, about a quarter of it.
About a 1/4 cup of tapioca. Why do you put the tapioca in?
Because it just like gels up the fruit, and so it makes it nice and
delicious. What happens with, especially with berries, you're making a fresh fruit pie, especially with berries, they get very, very juicy, right?
yeah.
And so the tapioca just forms a really nice fruity gel in there. So that's why she goes ahead and puts the tapioca in there. What are you going to do next there, Paris?
Put the butter in, 2 tablespoons.
About 2 tablespoons of butter, I think, is what you usually use. Just go ahead and slice them up, and she's just line them around all over the place. Just adds a little bit more flavor to it. It's a little bit creamy. It's just delicious.
Remember, you don't want to hide from butter. It's actually good.
butter is actually good for you as long as you, once again, everything in moderation, right? Okay, that looks good. Perfect.
And then you sprinkle some cinnamon sugar. Remember, we keep it on the counter and we use it for like every recipe.
We do. It's one of those things, if you watch some of our other videos, we use cinnamon sugar on a lot of things. You don't want to put a lot in this particular one because that's not the flavor that we're really looking for, but it does enhance the blackberries just a little bit. So go ahead and do that.
And now I believe you get the second pie crust.
You do? Is that what you're doing next? Very good.
And then remember my little trick. Unfold it halfway.
Oh, that looks good. Tuck everything in there.
Yeah, just pinch it.
Pinch all around the sides. Look at that. And why do we pinch the sides?
Just so it gets all the juice in and it doesn't bleed out and it, yeah.
Right. And it makes such a pretty, I'll go ahead and help you here. Just makes such a pretty design around the edges too, doesn't it? Just seals it all nice in there.
Yeah.
Look how nice that looks already. Okay.
And then I believe we baste it again.
Do, because we just want to get that nice golden crust to it. When you see pies, they have that nice golden sheen to it. This is the reason they do that, is because you baste it with the egg whites and it bakes up really nice and beautiful.
And be careful. If you do it too hard, it might ruin the pie crust.
So you don't want to push down too hard, right. Especially with apple pie, when we make apple pie, right? Because the apples, they're a little bit harder and they stick up and makes it, go through the pie crust. So that looks delicious.
Then some cinnamon sugar again.
We like that cinnamon sugar, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And then we cut about 5 or 6 holes.
Just do it a nice like little star shape or flower shape all the way around. And that just kind of vents the pie. Right? Beautiful. Very good. Perfect. Okay. And I think Paris wanted me to show you a little bit of trick that I have taught her. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you this part. You don't want the edges of the pie crust to burn, okay? So once you make it so pretty here. So what you can do is you can actually buy one of these pre-made pie crust shields. And if you use this, you want to make sure you take some soft butter and really grease all around the edges here. And you lay it right on top while you're cooking. And what that does is it protects the little rim around there of the pie crust, and it's not going to burn. But we're going to show you another trick, because in all of our videos we try to show you some things that you can make on your own if you don't have all the necessary baking pieces. And what we're going to do is we are going to make our own little pie crust rim out of a piece of aluminum foil. We just took a square of aluminum foil, okay, and fold it in half. And what we're going to do, we're just going to cut a semicircle right here on aluminum foil, right? And we actually did this for a long time before we actually bought some shields, didn't we? Yeah, so you can really do either way. And then what you want to do is you want to open up, makes a little circle frame. You lie it right on top there, and you just kind of tuck it in around the edges. Okay, just tuck it in like that. And then you want to kind of tent it up a little bit so it doesn't stick to the pie crust, okay? So tent it up a little bit. And there you have your very own homemade shield. And it's just going to come out perfect. You won't have any burned edges around the pie. So we're going to go ahead and bake this. What are we going to bake it at today?
400?
400 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. And you can kind of test it from there. Now if you're using fresh berries, you don't have to cook it quite as long. You're using the frozen berries, you definitely want to have it in for at least 45 minutes just to make sure that, because they have to defrost while they're cooking, you just really want to make sure all the juices are sucked up in there, okay? So why don't we go ahead and open up the oven. We're going to put this beautiful pie in here.
Hope it turns out good.
Oh, it just already looks delicious. That was so simple to do, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we're going to go ahead and set the kitchen timer for about 45 minutes. And what we're going to do, Paris, you want to show them this you made earlier? Look at this. This is a pie that she made earlier. It's actually still warm. She just got out of the oven about a half an hour ago. And you can see what we're talking about with this beautiful golden brown crust. and that is because of the egg white that she put on there, and some of the juice is kind of trickled out in from those cracks. It just makes it look delicious. The best thing you want to do with this type of pie, with a berry pie, is let it stand after you take it out for at least an hour, half an hour to an hour, because you really want to make sure as it starts to cool down, that's when the gel starts to form. And what is the best way to serve this pie, Paris? With what?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, ice cream. So what we always do is we take our ice cream, and should we put a nice big scoop right on there?
Oh yeah.
Right there. We'll cut a nice big piece. Look how pretty that looks. Oh,
A la mode style.
Blackberry pie a la mode. What could be better than that, right? I think Paris did a really good job to say her siblings just love her pies. This is just a very, very simple pie. You can see that you can make it really in less than 10 minutes and you can cook it. So as all of our recipes that we show you, you can definitely tailor them to your family's needs. If you want it a little bit sweeter, or if you like it a little bit more tart, you can adjust the sugar level from what we've told you today. But we hope that you enjoy this, because this is definitely one of our family favorites, right? So we're going to go ahead, and today we're going to end as we usually do with
Bon appetit.
Bye-bye.